Signs of aging in men over 65. 1 smell, 2 big, 1 small. How many do you have? Have you ever noticed subtle changes in your body and wondered if they're just normal signs of aging or something more? As men get older, certain physical signs start appearing, some obvious, some subtle, and one you might even smell before you see. These changes aren't random. They're actually clear indicators of how the body adapts over time. In this video, we're uncovering 4 telltale signs of aging in men over 65, 1 related to smell, 2 that get noticeably bigger, and 1 that shrinks with age. Some of these changes happen gradually, while others might surprise you one day when you look in the mirror. How many of these signs do you have? Stick around until the end because you might discover something that explains a change you've noticed in yourself but never fully understood. By the time we finish, you'll have a better understanding of what's happening to your body and what, if anything, you can do about it. Now, let's get started. 1. The unmistakable smell of aging. There's a certain scent that often accompanies aging. If you've ever visited a senior living facility, you may have noticed it. It's not about poor hygiene or cologne choices. It's something much deeper, happening at the cellular level. As men get older, their skin undergoes biochemical changes, leading to the production of a compound called nonenal. This odorless, to some, but noticeable to others, scent is created when fatty acids in the skin break down due to oxidative stress, giving off a slightly grassy, waxy, or even stale aroma. The challenge is that nonenal doesn't wash away as easily as regular sweat and oil. Unlike typical body odors that come from bacteria breaking down sweat, nonenal binds to fabrics, lingers on the skin, and resists being fully removed with regular soap. This explains why some men notice a lingering scent even after showering. Take Richard, a 74-year-old retired engineer. He started noticing that his shirts seemed to hold onto a certain scent even after washing. His granddaughter once told him, "Grandpa, you smell like books and wood." A surprisingly common way people describe this odor. Initially, Richard thought it was his cologne or laundry detergent, but after switching products with no change, he realized the scent was coming from his skin. Studies show that people over 40 begin producing nonenal in small amounts, but by the time men reach their 70s, it becomes much more noticeable. The good news? While you can't stop your body from producing nonenal, you can reduce its buildup. Using soaps designed to remove excess oils, eating antioxidant-rich foods like green tea and leafy greens, and washing clothes with baking soda can all help neutralize the scent. 2. A bigger belly that won't budge. A growing midsection is one of the most common signs of aging in men, and it's not just about eating a little too much or skipping workouts. As men get older, metabolism slows down, muscle mass declines, and hormonal changes make it easier to store fat, especially around the abdomen. You might notice that even if you're eating the same way you did in your 40s or 50s, your waistline keeps expanding. This happens because testosterone levels naturally decrease with age, reducing the body's ability to maintain lean muscle. Since muscle burns more calories than fat, this shift leads to a slower metabolism, making it easier for extra calories to turn into belly fat. Take Frank, a 76-year-old who was always lean in his younger years. Even though his diet hadn't changed much, he suddenly noticed his belly sticking out more, while his arms and legs seemed thinner. He blamed it on age, but what he didn't realize was that his body was redistributing fat, storing more in his abdomen while muscle mass in his limbs decreased. This change isn't just about appearance. Studies show that excess belly fat in older men increases the risk of heart disease, diabetes, and even cognitive decline. Unlike fat stored elsewhere, abdominal fat releases inflammatory chemicals that can affect everything from blood pressure to brain health. To combat this, resistance training can help counteract muscle loss, prioritize protein intake to maintain lean mass, and avoid processed carbs and added sugars to control insulin levels and prevent further fat accumulation. While gaining some belly fat is normal with age, letting it grow unchecked can lead to serious health risks. 3. The mystery of growing ears. You might not notice it right away, but your ears are actually getting bigger as you age. Unlike muscles that shrink or fat that redistributes, the ears continue to grow throughout life. This happens because cartilage, the flexible tissue that makes up most of the outer ear, keeps growing over time. Gravity also pulls the ears downward, stretching them and making them appear even larger. Studies show that ears grow by about 0.08 inches per decade, meaning by the time a man reaches his 70s or 80s, his ears can be noticeably larger than they were in his youth. George, a 78-year-old retired teacher, noticed this when looking at an old wedding photo. His ears weren't just bigger, they appeared longer and droopier. His once rounded earlobes had become thinner and stretched out, making his ears look even larger. While this change is gradual and harmless, it's a telltale sign of the body's natural aging process. 4. The shrinking height you can't ignore. Height loss is another clear sign of aging. As men get older, the discs between their vertebrae lose moisture and compress, leading to a gradual decrease in height. On average, men lose about 1 inch of height by their 70s, and by their 80s it can be even more. This change can sneak up on you. Maybe your clothes fit differently, or you notice that friends who were once shorter than you now seem taller. Bill, a 75-year-old, didn't notice his height loss until he stood next to his grandson and realized he wasn't as tall as he used to be. While losing some height is normal, excessive loss can be a sign of osteoporosis or other underlying conditions. Staying active, doing weight-bearing exercises, and ensuring adequate calcium and vitamin D intake can help slow down this process. How many of these signs do you recognize? Aging may be inevitable, but understanding these changes helps you adapt and maintain your quality of life. If you've noticed any of these signs, it's not just your imagination. It's your body adjusting to the natural aging process. Stay tuned for more insights on maintaining health and vitality as you age. Number 3. The ever-growing ears are a change almost every older man experiences but rarely talks about. This is one of the changes that almost every older man goes through, yet very few are willing to talk about it. Unlike other parts of the body, cartilage never stops growing as you age, while the skin around the ears gradually loses elasticity. This combination causes the ears to elongate and sag over time. Although this change isn't a medical concern, it does have a noticeable effect on appearance. For some men, this can even lead to self-consciousness, especially when they look back at old photos and realize how much their face has changed. So, what can be done? While you can't completely stop cartilage growth, you can slow down the sagging effect by maintaining good skin elasticity. Staying hydrated, consuming collagen-boosting foods like salmon, citrus fruits, and bone broth, and protecting your skin from excessive sun exposure can help keep your skin firm and youthful for longer. If your earlobes appear thinner, wrinkled, or dry, regular moisturizing and using vitamin-rich skincare products, such as those with vitamins E and C, can help maintain their texture and suppleness over time. At the end of the day, larger ears are simply a natural part of aging, just like wrinkles or gray hair. It's not a sign of poor health, but rather nature's way of ensuring that you can still hear the world around you, no matter how old you get. Number 4. Disappearing calves, a subtle yet significant sign of aging. One of the most noticeable changes that many older men experience happens in the legs, specifically in the calves. You might glance down one day and realize that your once strong and well-defined calves no longer have the same shape or size. This isn't just about losing weight, it's actually a common sign of aging called muscle atrophy, where muscle mass gradually declines over time. This change occurs for several reasons. First, a drop in testosterone and growth hormone levels as men age makes the body lose muscle faster than it can rebuild. Second, a gradual decrease in physical activity often happens without even realizing it. Even if you're still walking every day, you may no longer be engaging your calf muscles the way you used to, especially if you're no longer running, jumping, or lifting heavy objects. Third, changes in the circulatory system lead to reduced blood flow to the legs, which further contributes to muscle loss. Take Robert, a 75-year-old who spent most of his career on his feet. He always had strong, defined calves, but in his late 60s, he noticed that they were becoming thinner and weaker. Even simple tasks like climbing stairs or standing up from a chair without using his hands became more challenging. At first, he blamed it on aging, but the truth was that his muscles were shrinking due to inactivity and hormonal changes. Losing muscle in the calves isn't just about appearance, it has real consequences. Weak calves can affect balance, increase the risk of falls, and even contribute to slower walking speed. Studies have shown that men with reduced calf muscle mass tend to struggle more with mobility in later years, making daily activities more difficult. The good news? You can slow down muscle loss and even reverse some of it with the right exercises. Simple activities like calf raises, resistance band training, and brisk walking on an incline can help rebuild muscle fibers and improve circulation. Don't forget about protein intake. Eating enough lean meats, eggs, or plant-based protein sources helps maintain and restore muscle mass. So, if you've noticed your calves looking thinner or feeling weaker, don't ignore it. This is one of those aging signs that can be improved with effort, and taking action now can help keep you strong and mobile for years to come. Final thoughts. Recognize and adapt. Aging gracefully starts with understanding your body. Now that we've covered for subtle yet telling signs of aging in older men, take a moment to reflect. How many of these have you noticed in yourself or others? Aging is a journey, and understanding how your body changes is the first step toward taking better care of yourself. Whether it's staying active to maintain muscle strength, paying attention to skin elasticity, or simply making small adjustments to your daily routine, these small efforts can go a long way in helping you age with confidence and vitality. Aging isn't something to fear, it's something to embrace. With the right mindset and habits, every wrinkle, every shift in your body, and even the subtle scent of time tells a story of experience, resilience, and wisdom. Instead of worrying about these changes, focus on what you can do to stay healthy, strong, and feel like the best version of yourself. So, what stood out to you the most? Have you noticed any of these signs in yourself? Or are there others that you've observed that weren't mentioned here? We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to apply it in your life. Your thoughts matter to us, and reading your comments gives us the motivation and encouragement to keep creating content that informs and inspires. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating quality content. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.